Yeah, she's actually done this year, which has never been done before. I didn't even know. Oh, yeah, I guess she does. Well, that was at that figure. This
$1,000
we changed it.
Is it Blackberry?
This is a Windows-based unit, so it's
Yes,
a
there
slide-out
is.
keyboard, not like Windows.
Yeah, because then it can go right to your computer.
Every time I have something that requires another piece of software,
I wanted, it was going to be harder because usually we want to put it on the city of Maryland. All this takes place, sitting here, fucking right first. And 5 minutes into it, it's nothing to say. And it's still probably going to happen. But since this was already done for us, with this as a scenario. Okay. The whole thing. And she tried to take a feed of the, I thought we might be comfortable with that. And when she told me that puts us just about a dead center for the range. The only thing we could do, and better count it. And only because, see, a couple of months ago, I told you, I wanted to try to stop that. And nothing that could happen to Joe. And then we turned back 300. And that's when I think this is the year that's going to happen. I think the year when the economy straightened
Where's the meeting?
it's not very active.
Communication?
That's right. Used to fire, and you could actually watch the round fly down. Yeah. So
past computers all around. But she was slow and sweat. Drop that forward. And then I found out the story. Because of the so she's already beyond, she's been sick for so long, she's on the line with food and building. And Amy's coming down. Yeah, the radio food truck. There's more food truck than any other and the first responders, the state took the police department off the first responders.
We named them. We suggested.
From the grade.
Yep.
All right, are we ready? Yep. Call the meeting to order. Butch, you want to do the honors?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Announcements. Select Board will meet on the following dates. Our regular meetings at 6 p.m. November 9 and November 23rd, 2009. Work sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. All of these meetings will be held in the Town Hall unless otherwise posted. Weather observations for the month of September are posted in the front lobby at the Town Hall. Trick-or-treating for the town of Plymouth will be Saturday, October 31, 2009, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Town offices will be closed on Wednesday, November 11, 2009, in observation of Veterans Day. Paul Freitas will give details on the parade. A second public hearing for the proposed Public Safety Building will be held November 9, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. Tax rate settings will be done via telephone with the Department of Revenue on Wednesday, October 28th at 9:30 a.m. In the town offices.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
details on the parade. Formation will be at the Armory at 10 o'clock that Wednesday, and we'll kick off the parade at 10:30. Any organization that wishes to attend and be part of the parade are welcome. And any selectmen that we could possibly have there.
Okay. Thank you. Approval of the minutes, October 13th, and the 19th work session minutes. Does anyone have any comments on the, let's do the October 13 first. No comments. We have a motion to approve the minutes for the work session October 13.
So moved. Second.
Then moved and seconded. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the October 13 work session minutes are approved. October 19 work session minutes. Any comments, changes, etc.? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the work session minutes for October 19. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. Okay. The minutes of the regular board meeting, October 13. Does anyone have any comments or changes, etc.? There being none, I have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the October 13 board meeting. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. Now we have the 19th someplace.
19th was just a work session.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, appointments. Do we have the Plymouth Conservation Commission? Anybody here? Lisa Donner?
That's
No?
just there for board approval.
Oh, all right.
That's
Lisa
the
Donner has been nominated for the Plymouth Conservation Commission.
That's to replace Dave Switzer's position.
Is his term up, or is he resigned, or?
Right, no, he must have had to have stepped down.
All right.
I make a motion that Lisa Donner, is that how you pronounce it, Donner? Be appointed to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Lisa Donner be appointed to the Plymouth Conservation Commission. Those in favor? Aye.
Comments
Opposed?
somewhere along- Is there comments somewhere along that?
Do you have any comments?
I just think that any board should have an adversary instead of all being, either conservationists or environmentalists. I just think that it's good to have at least one on the board that might, and I don't know the woman. I have no idea. I wish she had been here so that I could at least see what she might look like. So
Anybody know her background?
I don't.
On the Conservation Commission, the Conservation Commission usually reviews, because it is made up of environmentalists.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear the first part of your question.
I just said that I'd like to see an adversary on some of these boards and these commissions so that at least it's not, they're full of brush. We all agree all the time, and there's never a question as to is it something that is just our belief, or is it something good for the town?
The Conservation Commission did turn in a review.
Yeah, the letter attached is, prior to moving to Plymouth, she lived in Campton and served for 2 years on their Conservation Commission. Her previous Conservation Commission experience, plus her professional training in environmental geology, positions her to become a valuable asset to the town of Plymouth as a member of the Conservation Commission. With these considerations in mind, the Commission has voted unanimously to recommend her appointment as a full member of the Commission. She would fill the full membership slot open when Dave Schwitzer resigned from the Commission. This was a letter written by Dominique Chairman of the Plymouth Conservation Commission.
I think this is what makes the select board work as well as it does, because we have 5 different people with 5 different backgrounds, with 5 different thought process. And if we all came from the same cookie cutter, and we all sat around and said, yes, we all got one mind, I don't think you'd have the conversation that you normally would have if you had people with different ideas. That's the only thing.
Paul, are there any alternates who would have that adversarial role? Alternates for the Conservation Commission?
Not at this time.
Because we've never really gone down that road.
But they haven't asked alternates. We could, all I know is this is a site-specific group that concentrates on conservation.
Right.
Unlike planning groups that you look for diversity, this is a committee that usually looks for people with conservation and environmental background, which is why you don't see that diversity of engineers, planners.
Planning board are set with different people with different thought processes. The selectmen has got the same thing. Zoning actually has, but the Conservation Commission, every one of them are environmentalists and conservationists, and so it's sort of a loaded board. I don't care. It's just that I think that any time that if you have all accountants or all insurance people or all one type of set of people, that you don't get the quality of the board you would if you had somebody saying, well, what if,
Right, and all I was trying to explain, John, is when you have a site-specific committee, you usually look for the skills that committee has been tasked
I
to fill.
understand that.
Like the aeronautics committee for the airport. It's everybody that has some kind of
I
aeronautics
understand
background.
that, yeah.
Anyone else have any comments? There being none, those in favor of appointing Lisa Donner to the Plymouth Conservation Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Lisa Donner is appointed. There's no updates. Under correspondence, I received a letter from the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer Commission in response to a request that I made at a meeting, I think it was around the 1st of October, where I asked the commission to reconsider their original offer to provide a water source at the amphitheater. I think their first offer was about a $4,000 metered water source. In response to that request, they sent a letter to me dated the 23rd of October. At the Commission's meeting held on October 13, 2009, the Commissioners discussed your request for the district to construct and provide an unmetered water source at the new amphitheater for seasonal water purposes. After much deliberation, the Commissioners would like to propose a 50% cost sharing for the installation of this connection. Since neither the district nor the town has allocated existing funds, they suggest that this be provided for in the 2010 budget. They suggest that the town and district each budget $1,403 for their share of the installation cost, and they attached an estimate of what it will cost to put this in. It came to $2,806, including access fee applications, a meter pit, 3/4 inch water meter, 8-inch by 3/4 inch saddle, copper tubing, 3/4 inch curb stop, service box, 3/4 inch corporation. Total parts $1,076. 3 8-hour man, 3 men 8 hours each for $1,080. And the total came to $2,806. Our share would be 50%, $1,403. The Commissioner also proposed a 3-year trial period, donating up to 2,500 gallons of water per year to the town at this site, with any additional consumption billed to the town. These proposals would be valid as long as the installation costs are approved by both the town and district voters at their respective annual meetings. After the 3-year period, future amounts of water to be donated will be determined by the boards of commissioners. The commissioners also feel strongly that the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District should be recognized for the significant contributions they have made previously and currently to the amphitheater project, perhaps with acknowledgement provided on its signage at the amphitheater. As far as that's concerned, the recognition, the land that the amphitheater sits on was given to the town in 1999 by the Water District. I've talked to Steve Rand, who is working on a fairly large cast plaque that will acknowledge the Rotary and any other contributors to the amphitheater, and that would include Plymouth Village Water and Sewer. And I'll deal with exactly what the verbiage is, but it would be something to the effect that this was built by the Plymouth Rotary Club on land donated to the town by the district, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's something that plaque will be paid for by the Rotary and probably completed sometime before spring. It's a pretty good size plaque. It's like the one out in front of Town Hall down here on the corner. Yep. Looks like a 2x3. Probably weighs about 8,000 pounds. But so what I'm asking the board to vote on is to include in our 2010 budget $1,403 is our 50% share of this water source, which
what
would...
is this water going to be used for anyway?
Well, right now, when they, assuming we have to water the lawn, which I'm assuming in the summertime when you get you know, when it's dry and it needs watering. Larry Gibson said he would like to be able to do it without bringing a fire truck down there.
Well, you could just buy a pump right from that river. You could put all the water you want up there.
Yeah. Well, this is...
For watering it. And it wouldn't cost $1,400. And we wouldn't
I
be-
think the pump, you're talking the pump and maintenance of the pump and installing the pump, I'm sure it would cost at least a couple $1,000s just to install the thing, and then you have to maintain
A
it.
portable pump that you could pump from the river to give you enough water to water a lawn, you certainly can buy for a lot less. Northern Supplies will give it, will sell it to you for about $500 to $600.
Mr. Chair, would the outlet have a lock on it, or would it have a lock on it? How would anyone be able to use it?
Yeah, it'll be secured for obvious reasons.
Well, for something
That would be one of the things.
Something that wasn't going to cost the town of Plymouth anything, so far it's cost maintenance from the Parks and Rec. I don't know what that costs per year. Now we got another $1,400 we got to put into it, plus whatever else. I don't think, you know, I'm getting a little sick of people giving the town of Plymouth something and then having the town of Plymouth have to pay thousands of dollars over a lifetime of the outfit. So that's my feeling.
Well, I think that the amphitheater is an asset for a lot of reasons, and it may even be a revenue source at some time in the future, but I don't think $1,400 is a serious outlay, and I think a portable pump, in the long run, your maintenance and moving the thing back and forth every time you wanted to water the lawn would probably exceed what this is going to cost. The cost will be zero for the first 3 years, and it'll be up to 2,500 gallons per year, which I don't think we'd exceed. So
I'd like to, if we can get a chance, I'd like to talk to Larry before we appropriate, before we vote on this. I'd like to talk to Larry about...
yeah, okay, because he's the one came to me and asked if we could, he wanted a fire hydrant, and that was sort of out of the question, I guess, because they wanted to put in a meter box and the whole thing, which I guess they're going to do anyway, but...
I'd like to talk to Larry.
Do we want to hear from the audience on this?
Table this if you want.
This is a board directive, and in all honesty, we don't have it budgeted in this year, so it would have to
Right,
wait for
it'd
another
be
budget.
2010,
2011.
the next budget cycle, yeah. So,
Well, I don't have to worry about it.
Mr. Wood, what would you like to,
What about the old man?
what old man?
Old man nature? That's a great-
Well, if we don't use the water, if we don't need the water, we won't use it. But
Still going to be charged for insulation and everything else, which to me is useless. And then what happens is we get a 100-year flood and the whole thing goes down the river, and you got to take it out.
well, yeah, but you may have to replace the senior center and a few other things on top of it. I don't see the point. I think $1,400 is what would be our share to provide a convenient way to water the lawn when it needs water.
You have one at your house, I don't have one at my house.
We don't have what?
Waste of money, and that's what it is, a waste of money. I've got about 8 watering cans at home, I'll donate to the town, you can go down and...
You gotta,
Ain't that much. I mean,
okay.
we're getting pretty stupid in this town of spending money on stupid stuff like this. Absolutely ridiculous to put in all this money. It's not a lot, but you gotta start somewhere to pay for the safety service bills. This is a good start.
Okay, we'll take your comments under advisement. Would you suggest that you want to talk to Larry Gibson first?
I'd like to talk to Larry.
All right. So
I'll make it part of the budget process with the department head.
yeah, we'll talk to Larry and decide whether we want to support this, the next meeting? You want 2 weeks?
No, Mr. Berman, I could suggest we just make it part of our regular budget process. It's going to require a line item to begin with, and when that department head is scheduled to come before the Board of Selectmen, that's when.
Well, is this for the budget year?
Not do it in this budget. We have not
Right.
budgeted for this item.
Right, so this would be the 2010-11 budget cycle.
Fiscal year 2011 budget.
So under any circumstances, we wouldn't see this until
July 1st.
July 1st of next year.
Right.
Okay. All right, so why don't you talk to Larry, and then we'll discuss it at a work session and decide what we want to do with it.
Unless Parks and Rec took it out of their budget, that amount would be, 1,400 would be under a purchase order amount, right?
I didn't hear you.
That amount, 1,400 could come right out. If he had the extra funds, he could do that in this budget year, no?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's got the extra funds. We can find that out when we talk.
But it would still
He's the one that
require
asked for it.
It would still require our authorization because we're doing a partnership
No, a department head can sign up to $2,000.
up to 2. So 14, he could sign.
If he felt he
So
could
if-
afford that in his budget.
Right, he can sign for it. All right, so we'll talk to Larry and then decide. And if he's got the money in his budget, if he thinks he does, we can go ahead with it. But this letter says that the town, since neither the district or the town has allocated existing funds, they suggested it be provided for the 2010 budget cycle anyway. So the water district isn't prepared to do anything until next year either. I mean, I personally think the idea makes sense, because if you need water, trucking it in there in a fire truck sure isn't an economic way to do it. And I don't, you can put a dry hydrant in the
And Mr.
River.
Brown, that's all I was trying to explain, that even the water department wasn't planning on doing this until their next budget, because
Yeah.
they don't have the money now either.
Got it.
So I was just trying to run it through a regular budget process.
All right. Do we have any visitors? We have none on the agenda. Land use permits are available for review in the lobby of the Select Board office. Chairman's comments, I have none. We do have a presentation to make. I'd like Mr. Scarborough to come forward.
We have Miriam Bader here tonight, Mr.
We
Chairman.
have Miriam Bader. Would you like to do the honors, Miriam, or?
Yeah, you would.
There you go.
I just wanted to say that Jack was appointed to the planning board in April 2008. He's taken his job very seriously. He's always coming prepared and willingly volunteered to serve on a number of committees. Jack served as the planning board representative on the following 5 subcommittees: the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District Source Protection Committee, the Pemigewasset River Local Advisory Committee, the Newfound Lake Region Watershed Steering Committee, the Newfound Lake Region Association, the Plymouth Regional Emergency Management Company. Jack, I just want to thank you for the fantastic job that you did serving on the planning board and representing so many committees. And whenever we had a committee, it was, Jack goes over there, I'll serve. So I really appreciate your go-to attitude. We want to, on the behalf of the Board of Selectmen, present that. Thank you.
It's really been a pleasure to work with everyone, and a privilege to serve the town of Plymouth. Thank you very much.
Good. All right. We have no purchase orders for approval. The new POs. Is Steve here? You want to? We have all the police department. 3 purchase orders. Would you want to?
I do have copies here.
All right.
Several months ago, we had applied for a grant from the Justice Assistance Grant. we were awarded about $28,000 to replace some technology in our building. What we plan on doing with the money is we want to replace our entire telephone system, so that would be all the consoles in the communication center, as well as all the telephones and all the desks throughout the building. That's part of it right there. We also want to upgrade our closed-circuit television in our building. We have some security cameras inside and outside of the building, and we want to increase the amount of cameras, but also we want to change from analog to digital. Right now, they all record on VHS tapes, which is pretty, it's difficult to make copies and things like that, so we wanted to record onto digital and have more places within the building where you can monitor. Currently, the only place really to monitor is in our dispatch center or in one other office. So people that are detained in our cells, it's limited who can monitor them. We also want to better isolate when we're doing confidential interviews who can actually monitor those interviews and how to record them. So it's a two-phase project right there.
Now, these are all covered by a grant?
That's correct. It's a reimbursement grant, so you have to expend the funds, then you submit documentation that you've expended the funds, and they reimburse you.
A little less than 25,000.
Oh.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to remind the board that each department head was tasked as of July 1st by myself to go out and try to secure as many grants that would save money out of their regular lines. And as you know, both stations had been required to have an X amount of dollars to try to improve their station. The chief's been able to come up with $28,000, 100%, no matching funds, and be able to take care of these repairs through a grant.
So I guess we can entertain a motion to approve all three of them in one motion.
I think we should probably do it. I think we should probably do it individually. Each grant, I mean each.
Is it one grant or are they?
No,
It's one grant, but it's
each purchase order.
Okay.
That way we won't confuse the amounts.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion to approve a purchase order to PhD Communications in Manchester for $13,650 in...
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so that's purchase order 72. Yes.
Steve, if I'm adding these up correctly, it doesn't come up to 28,000.
It's a little under.
It's a little under, it's about 25.
We got about,
I think it's 27.
yeah, I got about around $2,000 in there to do some building tweaking.
Okay. So that'd be used.
If I got to cut into a wall or something, there's some extra
I
money.
just thought since they were willing to give you 28,000.
Yeah.
Tried to get it as close as we could.
I'll figure a way to spend it, I guarantee you that, John.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for purchase order number 7235 in the amount of $3,116 for communications equipment.
Second, I mean, motion,
Second.
okay.
So it's been moved and seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one's approved. I'll entertain a motion to approve purchase order 7236 in the amount of $7,950 for various communications equipment, all of which is covered by a grant.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded by Valerie. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so that's about 25 out of 28, so you're...
About 27, 26.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Committee reports. Valerie.
I did attend the Grafton County Commissioners meeting last week. It was interesting in that every manager from the county spoke about their department and what they do and what they cost us, and so on. The meeting itself, there was not a lot of any significance that was discussed. But everyone from the sheriff through the Register of Deeds was there speaking about the county and its operations.
Was that one in Campton?
Yes, it was at Campton. And, you know, of those present at the meeting, I think the entire county was invited to attend. The Campton Board of Selectmen, their town clerk and town administrator were there, and I was the only other non-Campton there besides Marsha Morris. So it was...
Okay.
What's for me?
Nothing. John?
The planning board had 2 new applications on a conceptual plan. One was for the property up on Tenny Mountain Highway that the tractor company bought that land? Yeah.
It's in the process.
Okay. That at that point they had a conceptual plan about dividing that property into 2 parcels and doing some excavating work so that the tractor company would be on 4 acres and they would have the ability to subdivide some part of the other 4 acres, with the exception of there has to be a retention pond and some of it is in wetlands, so that they don't really have a lot of land that they can subdivide, maybe 2 acres what they figured on. The second is Mr. Hanaway and Company is asking or has a conceptual plan for do they call it low-income housing anymore? Do they call it workers' housing?
Workforce.
Workforce housing up on Fairgrounds Road, which is part of the, I don't know what the name of the corporation is, but it's part of the Blackie development that was up on the old Smith farm. And what they want to do is come into, is it Pine Street, I believe, Paul?
Yes.
They want to come into Pine Street and hook a left, and right between, in back of the houses on Pine Street, and right next to the trailer park, you know, the mobile home park. There's a section of land there that they want to use, and they want to use the concept of Blackie's project and reduce the number of lots that Blackie wanted, so that they would have, like, I believe, 3 lots instead of X number of lots. And they want to use the part of the work that Blackie had done as far as wetlands is concerned, as far as the others are concerned. And I tried to explain to them some time ago, there's a law that says that once a subdivision of a subdivision starts, they have to start in all over again. You know, like in Cummings Hill property, they can't just take it and run from all of the work the other people have done. So, but these are only conceptual plans, and there's a lot more work that has to be into it. But those are the 2 big items that the planning board had.
Thank you. Darrell?
I attended the latest library building committee meeting, and they started their private fundraising efforts.
Okay. The only meeting I went to is the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District meeting, which the results of which are in this letter that we're currently considering. Other than that, I have nothing to report. Other business, we have none. Paul? Public comment. would anyone like to? Mr. Keefe.
I just wanted to announce that this Wednesday, the 28th, is the annual trick-or-treating celebration on the PSU campus for local children, 6:30 to 7:30. And it includes most of the residence facilities, plus President Steen's house, of course, which is a major attraction, as well as some of our dining facilities. And folks can go to the Hartman Union Building and pick up a flyer that shows them a little map in every place that's trick-or-treating that night. So it's another chance if you didn't get enough candy on Main Street this weekend or on the official trick-or-treat, you can come and get lots more at Plymouth State University.
Rotting all the teeth of the children in Plymouth.
Counteract all that fluoride.
Anyone else?
Nobody say anything about a beef
John?
Who owns the old Lionel store land?
The old what?
Lionel store.
The one that we had taken down.
The original owner.
The original owner, it's still...
It's still owned by the people, and I think they're from Berlin. Yeah.
He's paying taxes on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why at the zoning board, it was turned down, the dentist who wants to put a nice building there and everything, close to the school, and it was all turned down by the zoning board. I didn't know if the town owned it or not, but seeing the taxes are being paid on it, but...
Can I answer?
Yeah.
One of the reasons that they turned it down, John, is because they are thinking of rezoning the entire top of Ward's Hill. I don't know whether anybody knows what I'm talking about, but the hill where the store was, that they think that instead of rezoning each piece of property that will be sold or wants to be changed from a residential to a commercial, that they want to do it in one fell swoop, and then that way they won't have to come in every time and get each individual when they come and ask for acceptance. That's why they stopped it.
Did they advise that person that this was going to happen and they may have a chance to reapply?
I don't know, but Paul's shaking his head yes, so I would say yes.
It's in the planner and the building inspector's hands right now. They're investigating doing that so that we're not just piecemealing it.
And I don't know where it's going to start or stop as far as the zoning is concerned, whether it's going down over Ward's Hill or whether it's just where it's supposed to, where they're going to change the zoning. You'd have to talk to Miriam about that.
We just started that. We just started looking into that about a week ago.
Yeah.
The other thing I have is with Veteran Days coming up, don't we have a list that we're compiling of the veterans, dead and alive and everything else?
Yes, we do.
Would it be possible to put those names on paper and hand them out at the Veterans Day parade to the adults?
I'm the only one working on the list. I could show you some help. I've offered volunteers for 5 years. I can give you a copy of all the names that I have.
If I can get them done for nothing, wouldn't it be a good idea? Because we haven't got anybody with names who know who was a veteran and who wasn't. That committee's still active?
No.
That committee's not active?
The only one that's left. Because there was never a consensus of the committee on who should even be eligible. How far back to go, whether to include just Plymouth people, what qualifies as a citizen of Plymouth. Do you have to live here 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Do they only go with the original Plymouth residents? So many of those things came into play that everybody started dropping off from the one.
Well, you can't...
So I have been continuing to gather names from Dick Sherman on down.
I'm not concerned with that. I'm just concerned that we're sort of dropping the ball there. It's not your fault. And I think we should take a more active interest in it. And a good time would be to just...
I've got quite a large list of names down that I'll get to.
I'll see you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just a general comment. I noticed in the Citizen, I believe in today's paper, that Holdness has just put in a big plaque in front of their town hall, and the only people they put on, they went all the way back to the eons, way back in the 1800s.
Civil War.
Civil War, yeah, and brought all of their name only for the people in Holderness, which was always a contention as whether we should, since we were the center for everybody to register, whether we should put down everybody that registered in Plymouth, whether Rumney, wherever it was, or just have the citizens of Plymouth as far as the list is concerned, or at one time a plaque. So I don't know what Paul's got, but I do know that Holderness would probably be off the list now because they've got their own plaque.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, are there any, do we have a non-public?
Yeah.
No non-public.
No?
No. Unless we might come close to setting a record. Would somebody like to move for an adjournment?
I make a motion that we adjourn as of...
I second it.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. 45 minutes.